Hello and welcome to Leap. My name is Shireen Francis, and today we have Sumita Mukherjee, who is a STEAM educator and traveling author. She inspires and empowers children all over the world to get off their screens, kill boredom, and just enrich their lives through hands-on learning. Let's welcome Sumita to the show.
Thank you, Shireen. It's wonderful being here. It's such a pleasure and honor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, I love your story, by the way. It's really inspiring. I love how you have managed to leap into your own business, into authorship as well. I know you've done well with selling your books as well.
Thank you.
And they all have a multicultural focus as well.
Right.
And you're educating children and helping them get off their tablets, which, you got to help me out with that too a little bit. I got two
For
girls
sure.
and they always want my tablet. So let's start with your writing. How did you get into writing?
Yeah, so I need to thank my daughter for that. She used to love reading travel adventure books. She was all the time into Peppa Pig
Yeah.
and Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
And so all her travel adventure stories were about these characters who love to cross imaginary mountains and imaginary places and solve the problem. So I thought, why not I create something for her where the characters cross real life mountains, real life bridges. From there she can learn also, right? So at that time I was based in Malaysia, and I was traveling a lot to Singapore, to China, to India, and I wanted to bring in facts and flavors from all these places, tie it into a book, so that any child who's reading the book can automatically be transported to that place. So that got me writing. And very luckily there was a publisher who believed in my dreams, and she said, okay, why don't you write a series? I was like, what, you like my book? This is my first attempt. And she was like, yeah, go for it, just write a series.
Yeah.
So I started writing. It took me almost a year. There were 4 books, one based in India, one in China, I think one in Singapore and Malaysia. So that got me writing, and eventually it was published in Singapore and Malaysia, and of late in India.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
And so now these books are teaching children about the different cultures.
And also facts about that place.
Yeah.
So if you grab the Singapore copy, you will get insights about Singapore, about the flyer, Singapore flyer, and there is a mystery and adventure story associated with it.
Yeah.
So it's all fun and good.
Wow. And so you wrote that series and you put it out there, and how did that work for you? What was that like?
Oh yeah, initially it was like, just go for it, just do it. I didn't have too much of expectation. But after a year, when the sales report came, I remember I was out again, traveling somewhere, and I was checking my phone, and then I opened my Excel sheet, and I'm like counting, okay, maybe 100, 200, 300. And when I saw the number was more than 4,000, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
My God, thank you so much to
Yeah.
all the people who liked and appreciated my work.
Yeah.
I guess I was very lucky
Yeah.
that people loved it at the first go.
Yeah, that's amazing. And especially since it was kind of, what I love is it was truly a leap. You had the idea,
Right.
I'm going to write it. You wrote it, you put it out there, boom.
Boom.
Right? And it's that easy.
Yeah.
When you really just learn to start taking the steps into it.
Right.
So now that was your first leap, was writing.
Yeah.
And how did that become a business now?
That has a very funny story actually. It was when I started writing, I became very busy with my work and my writing. And I realized that my daughter was spending so much amount of time glued to the screen and
Yeah.
glued to the TV. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I called over her friends. And what I found was they were also watching TV. I'm like, okay, what is happening here? Everybody is just glued to the TV. I got to do something.
Yeah.
So there was a voice inside me that was telling me, you are a NASA STEM leader.
Yeah.
So why don't you use your ideas for that? At that time, I was doing this program from NASA,
Yeah.
and it is a STEM leadership program. and it had a lot of hands-on activities, lot of projects, lot of lesson planning I had to do for the assignments. So that gave me an idea. So one fine day, all the kids are, watching TV, and I take 3 glasses and I put vinegar in each of them, and add some food color, and in a bowl I take some baking soda. So I just very casually, bring it in front of them, and I tell them that, with this is the magic powder. You
Yeah.
can make a volcano out of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is she saying? What is your mom saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, try it, go for it. And they add 1 spoon and 2 spoon, and suddenly the concussion kind of erupts,
Yeah, yeah.
into a volcano. And they're like euphoric, they're hysterical, they're giggling and laughing.
Right.
And they wanted to do again and again and again. I think they must have played for more than an hour with all those
That's
magical
amazing.
potion.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking, okay, this is a good idea. What if I can, for every play date, come up with some idea
Yeah.
and something to engage the kids? So the next time they came, I made a balloon and a rocket for them.
Yeah.
It eventually broke into a competition whose rocket can go the furthest.
Yeah.
And that made me, think that, what about, I keep making these activities. Over a period of time, I had a lot of activities done with the kids.
Yeah.
I thought, let me compile them into a book. So
Yeah.
I had these 4 books on adventure. Let me do something on scientific learning. So I compiled into a book and I published it. And to my surprise, even they started selling.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, maybe there are other parents out there, who are looking for creative, innovative ways to kill boredom at home,
Yeah.
ways to engage their kids.
Yeah.
And I was like so relieved to see my own child,
Yeah.
finally do something meaningful. Now she's all the time building a pulley, or she's making a squishy notebook, or making her own Smurf village.
Cool.
So I want to kind of inspire
Yeah.
other parents and share that happiness.
Yeah.
And with that, I started my own club, the whizkidsclub.com.
Yeah.
And I try and put a lot of books out there, a lot of resources, so that any kid can join and get access to that.
So that's so incredible, because now you're saying your daughter went from being, the screen queen,
Yeah.
and I made that up, the screen queen, to now, proactively on her own, seeing how much more fun she could have when she's getting her hands
Right.
dirty. That's amazing. And speaking of, the charge and the wholeness of this, I know you're really big on whole brain learning. So there's left brain thinkers, there's right brain thinkers, and you have found a way to really stimulate both parts of the brain. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. Ideally, we have often heard that a person says that, I'm right brain or I'm left brain. But to any decision-making process, there is a very complex thing which happens. There are several parts of the brain which work in balance to come up with any kind of action. So having said that, there are certain traits and characteristics of any child or of any person, which if you can understand, you can understand the dominant style. So for a left brain dominant person or a kid, he or she would show interest in languages, in memory,
Right.
in speaking abilities, in logical thinking, critical analysis.
Yeah.
While for a right brain child, he or she might be more into creativity, music, very intuitive,
Right.
understanding of spatial skills.
Yeah.
With my work, I kind of integrate both the aspects.
Yeah.
There is logic, there is math, there is art and creativity, and I kind of create a unified learning whole, which is the STEAM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Wow. And so now they're getting this full-blown experience of experiencing all of the different subjects and topics.
Right.
They're getting off the screen,
They're getting off the screen.
and they're enriching their lives so much more because they're learning what they can do.
Right.
Right?
That's absolutely right.
That's powerful.
That's
Yeah.
powerful because STEAM encourages meaningful play,
Yeah.
and it is like the whole brain workout.
So how old can they be? Like, how old do you have to be to get started with something like STEM?
Ideally, if you are 4 years old to almost about 12 years old, you can get started on STEAM anytime. And they are also related to the curriculum, the next generation science standards and common core standards. So it is a win-win situation even at home. You're actually learning a lot, teaching a lot, and having fun at the same time.
Cool. Thanks so much for being on the show,
Thank you,
Sumita.
Shireen.
It was
It was a
awesome
pleasure
having
having you
Awesome.
here.
Yes.